Alright, so welcome to my game design analysis video for the level I made for Mega Man Maker. Going into it, I built the level around a specific theme, basically just being Airman. I really like Airman's theme from Mega Man 2, so I wanted to use his theme and kind of incorporate that wind theme into a level. I thought it'd be interesting. Mega Man Maker doesn't have Airman yet, so I ended up, the boss is going to be Windman, but the rest of the level is kind of the air and wind theme. Yeah, so just moving forward here, we kind of have this open space, just for letting the player get accustomed to their controls before we have the first actual challenge, which would be these are this enemy here, which you see it goes up and then it hops towards the player. So this kind of, I think it's a really good introductory enemy because it kind of incentivizes the player to be able to jump and shoot. It kind of teaches the player they'll need to do both of those things. And then I have them up on this little pedestal here, so the player won't be able to shoot it unless they're jumping. And that also gives the enemy more time to actually do what it's designed to do, which is fly up and then move towards the player. It gives the enemy time to do that before the player is able to kill them. So here it's just like a little jumping, you need to be able to do platforming in Mega Man, so this is just a little section to introduce jumping. And so we kind of have this surprise enemy here, who will, this wind-blowing enemy, which will push the player back, but the player has ample time there to kind of react to what they're doing. And we're just reintroducing these enemies, pretty simple stuff. So here we're going to start combining themes. We have these vertical enemies combined with the platforms, so now you have to be very careful about like your spacing and whatnot. And then we have another wind enemy. This next section here is introducing the birds. So the birds, I really like the birds' design. I think they're kind of interesting to have as a continual threat through an area, but they're definitely very hectic. So I wanted to introduce them like as their own standalone thing on this flat platform first. And then once the player has handled that, they can move on to the more complicated stuff, which is the platforming with the birds going on. So yeah, once we get through this section, we just keep combining themes. So now we have, a blowing enemy and the birds at the same time, kind of creating more hecticness to deal with, and then we get to what I would consider is like what's the first checkpoint, and then what I consider like the next segment, which is like the tower segment. So I wanted to kind of switch up the gameplay here. So I gave the player the Airman power-up from Mega Man 2, which is like these vertical tornadoes, and which would allow more vertical design because the player can more competently take out vertical enemies and targets that way. So here, I kind of wanted to tell a little story with the level design here of like the birds like flying through the window. You can exit back out. Here, it's just a little introduction for these fans. So these fans are going to blow the player up and upwards, and they have these really interesting physics. So I thought like introducing them again, like introducing them like in the middle of something would be a bit problematic since they have like really weird physics. So it kind of gives the player a chance to play with them a couple times. So yeah, right. First we introduce the fan, then we have the fan, and then we introduce like doing combat on the fan. So we're kind of progressing these ideas and combining these ideas of gameplay, actions like combat and platforming, which is really tying those together here. Again, another introduction of an idea is the falling platforms. Really, like, if we go back down, there's no real danger here. The falling platform won't kill you. All you need to do is reload the room to get the falling platforms back. But it's not like the falling platforms are going to be the death of you, so you can kind of just go through and platform here. I have a whole room. I really like the design of this like vertical room with the falling platforms, because it's like if you get up here and you fall back down, these falling platforms respawn, and then if you climb back up, these ones respawn too. So it's never like, I don't feel like it breaks the flow of gameplay as much as like needing to reset the falling platforms on the lower area. So this area, I wanted to do something kind of more interesting. So I wanted to have the, the blowing. most of the falling platforms you can kind of just walk past and be fine, but there I kind of added more tension using the blowing enemy. You know, so if the player wasn't ready or expecting it, they would not. It kind of creates this more hectic moment. So here, I was kind of inspired by Mega Man 2's, like, I think Crash Man has like some really ladder-based segments, and I figured just having some ladder combat, might be something, just to spice it up. Nothing too complicated. So here I wanted to, flip the script, I guess, on the fans. So previously the idea with the fans was that you would use the fan to progress, and you would use them as a way to go up. So I figured a way to like kind of flip that script would be having it be reversed, is that you're trying to get down, but the fans are like in your way, and you have to get past them. Something else that I liked doing while designing this level is combining the wind enemies and the fans, because then you're kind of being pushed back while you have like this lack of control over your aerial momentum, which was nice. And then also I kind of wanted to have the E-tank here as an incentive, like a passive incentive that the player, if you want to kill these enemies and get it, you can. But if you just don't want to deal with the trouble of it, you can just move on. So here, last room for the boss, we have like we have the real combination of the wind enemies and this hopping guy. So having the two fans there makes it really difficult to actually control where you're going, and then again having the blowing enemy makes it really difficult as well. Oh. Then yeah, we have a checkpoint for the boss room, and then yeah, I have the leaf weapon, Woodman's weapon from Mega Man 2. I just made Windman weak to that, just kind of keep that Airman theme. Other than that, like, it's a pretty standard Windman fight. Kind of just avoid his attacks and use the leaf blower to your advantage. And then yeah, there you go.